If you have an extra seat at your table, wave your hand and somebody who's standing can find a seat. We want to thank everyone for coming to celebrate Gordon's 90th birthday. He considers each and every one of you his extended family. Everyone is special here, and I'm sorry I had to cut off the list at a certain point, but there are only 180 chairs. So thank you all for coming, and I will now turn it over to our Master of Ceremonies. We will have the presentation of the colors by the VFW Post 3208, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag led by the commander of Post 3208, Dave Laura, and after that we will have the invocation.
Now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Art. Hey. Art. Not at the chaplain.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. We have a wonderful group of people. God bless every each of you. They only allowed me for a couple of minutes to go through this. Go ahead and do this. This is prayer of thanks. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you in this moment because we believe that you are God, and we are your people, and you are the creator and sustainer of life. We acknowledge that every good and perfect gift comes from above, and that all we have comes from your divine beneficent hand. We thank you for this food and ask for your blessing. Upon us we partake. Teach us to be always mindful of your loving kindness and tender mercies. Amen.
Amen. Everybody take their seats. Some of you, a couple people here might know who I am. My name's Rich Snyder, and I'm honored to be here today to help celebrate the 90th birthday of our dear friend. I was fortunate to have dinner with Gordon and Mary Lou a couple weeks ago. We sat down and shared some stories of how Gordon got from Missouri to SierraMadre. I'm working on it. And I'd like to share a couple of those stories with you. And don't worry, Gordon, I'm not going to share all of them. Gordon was born in Lewisburg, Missouri, in a small town with a population of 175. His home was on a 220-acre farm where he lived with 8 brothers and sisters. Apparently, you guys didn't have a TV. Gordon is the baby of the family, and the oldest sister was 20 years apart. Gordon's brother Lowell is 94, and he has two sisters, Wilma and Lucy, who are 98 and 101. Gordon tells me that his babysitter still lives in Lewisburg. And it's my understanding, I found out today, that yesterday morning about 4:30, his girlfriend called from Lewisburg and sang him happy birthday. Is that right? It must be the water. Well, when Gordon was 8, his father purchased a stud bull and brought it home to the farm. His brother Lowell and him sneak into the barn and try riding the bull. And Gordon says the bull would have none of it at first. Well, after a while, the two of them had that bull trained like a horse. They'd tap on the right side, the bull would turn right. They'd tap on the left of his head, he'd turn left. Tap on the top, he'd stop. Gordon would actually ride this bull to town for groceries. When Gordon was 10, he skipped a year of school and worked on planting the fields on the farm his father had leased from their next-door neighbor. Imagine that, 10 years old, working a plow to till the land. Obviously, iPhones hadn't been invented yet. 2 weeks after graduating from high school, Gordon went into the Navy, and he served from 1943 to 1945, and proudly served aboard the USS Saratoga. In 1946, shortly after coming home from the Navy, Gordon hitchhiked his way to Ventura, where he found a job working in the oil field. When he arrived, he only had 35 cents in his pocket, and he went to the local diner and asked if they would feed him for a week, and he would pay him when he got his first paycheck. They agreed. They fed him for a week, including packing him a sack lunch every day. He also went to the local motel and made that same deal. It was in the oil fields where Gordon met and became great friends with Hal Jordan. Gordon soon learned that he wasn't the only one who made that cross-country trek to Ventura. Turns out he was being chased by Mary, a girl from his hometown, and in 1948 they were married and started a family. Over the next several years, they had 4 children, 3 girls and a boy. His daughters, Judy, Terry, and Connie. I believe they're here with us today. Will you raise your hands? So one day, Hal decided he had enough with the oil field and decided to go to plumbing school and start his own business. He tried to get Gordon to be his partner and go with him, but Gordon had his wife and kids and he was happy working for Shell Oil. Until one day in 1958, he came home from a bad day in the oil fields and decided to take Hal up on his offer. So Hal told him, "Come on down to this little town called Sierra Madre and we'll be business partners." Gordon was concerned because he knew very little about plumbing. And Hal said, "You get here and I'll teach you everything you need to know." So in September 1958, Gordon packed up his family and headed for Sierra Madre. They arrived at the house that Hal had rented for them at Highland and Lima, and Hal was supposed to be there to help them unpack. But there was no Hal. Hal was in the hospital having his appendix removed. So Monday morning, Gordon showed up at the shop for his first day of work, and his partner was still in the hospital. The office manager, Pearl, which was Fire Chief Charlie Brown's sister, said, "Don't worry, I can run this place." Well, that morning he got his first call, his first house call. It was a mainline sewer backup. And that was Gordon's first introduction to plumbing. And that's how Sierra Madre got Gordon. Soon, Gordon bought a house and joined the volunteer fire department. He served under Charlie Brown, and he used to drive Old Snort, which was the fire department's first fire engine. One day in 1961, he was doing a plumbing job at Hastings Ranch, and he looked up and he saw smoke above the hills in Sierra Madre. So he told the lady, "I'll be right back." And he did. He came right back 2 days later and finished the job. In 1985, Gordon's wife, Mary, passed away. 2 years later, Gordon got married to Mary Lou, the girl next door. And it's the same name. He says it was convenient because he talks in his sleep. So. Gordon has done a lot to make this town a better place. He sponsored Little League teams. He's a member of Kiwanis. He's a Red Cross disaster volunteer. Whatever you ask Gordon to do, he always says yes. And Gordon has never been shy to ask, what can I do for you? He's flipped pancakes, sold pizza, organized transportation for the Wisteria Festival, has served Sierra Madre in many unique ways. He helped raise funds for the first ambulance, got the light pole at Memorial Park installed. In fact, he personally poured the concrete. 3 times a year, he would call 300 people to donate blood. The payoff of this was 2,000 units of blood collected. He and Hal were the first to make a sizable donation to the fire department's automatic defibrillator program. And Hal happened to be the first patient who used the defibrillator. Talk about a good investment. These are just a few of the many ways Gordon has given back to the people of this community. Gordon, I'd like you to stand up for a second, if you can. And I want you to see Gordon, these are the people who you touch their lives, and they love you and they think the world of you. How awesome is it that we've all come together, not just to celebrate your birthday, but to celebrate you. Happy birthday, my friend.
You know, guys, I look out there and see so many wonderful, wonderful friends. I just can't believe it. I bring tears to your eyes. I'm happy with you. And you've all been such wonderful people. Thank you for coming.
Sierra Madre, you were the Wisteria chair. So I made sure that the city, now I'm going to hold this up and I hold it up. Now the audience has to go and then on, okay? We made sure we put Wisteria on this beautiful certificate. Oh, very good, very good. So on behalf of future Mayor Pro Tem John Capocha and Council Member Chris Kerber, I would like to present the certificate of recognition to the city of Sierra Madre. Recognition of Gordon Caldwell in celebration of his 90th birthday. Now I just forgot to tell the joke of today. The joke was, it's February. It's February, and if you think about February, we have a lot of important birthdays in February. We have the 12th is Abraham Lincoln. The 22nd is George Washington's. The 24th is Gordon Caldwell. All the greats were born in February. So anyway, the City Council would like to present this on the 16th day of February by the City Council of the City of Sierra Madre, Mayor Nancy Walsh, Mayor Pro Tem John Haravidia, Council Members John Capocha, Chris Kerber, and Josh Moran, and it could not happen to a nicer guy. Thank you very much.
Next, I think the fire chief couldn't be here today. He stopped by earlier, but he had other commitments, but he came by and said hi. But on behalf of the fire department, Gordon, with your 58 years, something like that, Gordon has paid his association dues. I think you're the only one who's consistently paid your association dues. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm correct. Mary Lou has paid his association, making you still a member of the fire department for 58 years. So we have for you, this is how you do it. And this presented to Gordon Caldwell in celebration of your 90th birthday. Thank you for your dedication and service to the Sierra Madre Fire Department since 1958. We salute you. Next, I would like to invite Dave. Are you ready to do this?
I got it.
On behalf of the VFW, we'd like to present Mr. Gordon for meritorious and distinguished service in furthering the aims and ideals of the veterans of World Wars of the United States.
Okay, at this time, if there's anybody else that would like to come up and, oh, they're coming. I know this name. I'm
not going to find him today. But Gordon, two things. Gordon, my name is Susan Henderson. I've been president of Kiwanis for the last 5 years. And I'm very honored to be here to announce to Gordon for the first time that he is going to be the recipient of the Distinguished Service Award from our governor in March. Gordon has been a faithful member of Kiwanis for 27 years. So if you add that to 90, that actually makes you 117. You're doing wonderful. But his leadership and his support of local businesses in this community has been outstanding. We love you and thank you very much.
At this time, if there's anybody that would like to come up and say a few words, we have an open microphone. Oh, you do have it.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming today. Mary Lou, thank you for doing this for our kids. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you for loving him. Can you hear me now? Thank you for loving our dad for all these years and having him. My dad's birthday is coming up. Thank you. And he had one of his children on one side of his birthday and one child on the other side of his birthday. One of them is sitting over there at the table today. So happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday, Judy. Judy, will you stand up? So Judy is the oldest of the 3 daughters. I will always be the youngest. And we have Terry. Where's Terry? There's Terry, the middle daughter. And then there's Connie, that's me. There's so many wonderful people that have meant so much to my dad all these years. It's been such a wonderful, wonderful afternoon to meet each of, well, a lot of you. I didn't meet each of you. A lot of time has passed since I moved from Sierra Madre, the most wonderful little town in the world. And it's been so wonderful to be the daughter with me. Am I not the luckiest? Is not So I have a few words that I wanted to say. And first of all, Dad, Judy, Terry, and I want to thank you for everything. First, we want to say happy birthday, but happy birthday for everything. We want to thank you for all the choices that you made in your life, all the choices that made you the man you are today. We want to thank you for choosing to live a full and loving life in spite of the hard knocks that life dealt you in early childhood and the war. You chose to live a full and loving life instead. Thank you for choosing to live and give even when times were tough. Thank you for all the sacrifices that you made along the way. Thank you for working the graveyard shift. Thank you for even hauling gravel when times were tough just to make sure the bills were paid and food was on the table. And thank you for letting us know that hard work is honorable. Thank you for dreaming and risking. Thank you for the risks that you took for us. Thank you for taking that risk way back in 1958. Thank you for saying yes when given the opportunity to buy a small business in a town called Sierra Madre. You know, when given that opportunity, you chose to say, yes, yes, I will leave my good job with Shell Oil. Yes, I will uproot my wife and 4 small children from their lovely home in Ojai on an acre and move to a town and run a business about which I know very little. And you were given a little bit of insight the day he came here, and Hal had appendicitis, so he had no guidance. But thank goodness you were a fast learner. Thank you for being so brave. With you, Dad, we kids felt nothing but safe and loved. No matter the circumstance. And so I will bring up the tree. I remember one specific instance of your bravery. I was about 9. And I was kind of a round kid, okay, so I wasn't scrawny, all right? And I had such a fear of heights that I couldn't join the other kids in the tallest pine tree in Sierra Madre in the fort. How many of you know the tallest pine tree in Sierra Madre? This particular one doesn't exist anymore. It was just cut down a few months ago. How many of you know this pine tree? Mountain Trail in Grandview, just up in the barber's house, in this old miller's house. There in the yard was the tallest pine tree in Sierra Madre. Anyway, I wanted to overcome that fear of heights so badly so I could reach that fort, and one day I did just that, but then I froze. And nothing and nobody was going to move me, not even the police. I said, the only one that I would move for is my dad. And so they called you, and you came home from work, and you climbed that tree. And all my fears evaporated in your strong arms. I don't know how. It couldn't have been safe. It was probably really treacherous, but all I felt was safe. And when we finally got down and reached the ground, you didn't scold me. You hugged me. You were just happy I was okay. We always felt safe. Nothing bad was going to happen as long as you were around, because you wouldn't allow it. Fire season brought many wildfires, very close to all of our homes here in Sierra Madre. And those burning embers showered down on all the homes in Sierra Madre, and you were either up on our roof with the hose, or you were out with the fire department fighting to save somebody else's. We were so proud that you were on the Sierra Madre Fire Department. I loved to peek at your big hat and your fire coat and your boots that you stored in a closet at home. You remember? We were all so excited when the fire horn would sound. How many of you remember the code? I remember there was a code with the fire. Okay, so I see you. So back then, we all knew the general location of the fire by the number of times the fire horn sounded. So we had to get rid of that system because there were way too many looky-loos. We all did. We could just go to where the fire was. And that system was replaced by a small alert box that you positioned next to the bed. And I remember one time that alert was for a home across the street, and we all watched as our dad climbed a ladder and hatcheted a hole in the roof of that house. It was very, very meaningful. Or how about the times that we kids hiked up that Mount Wilson trail? I mean, how cool is it that we grew up with the trailhead to Mount Wilson, just a block from the house, you know, a couple blocks. It was very cool, okay? We loved those mountains. But sometimes we took detours. One time we had an idea that we could follow a stream down to the back of the Sierra Madre Reservoir in the canyon and home again. Didn't work out so well. Unfortunately, we ended up in a shale-lined canyon with no way of getting out. How frightened you and Mom must have been when we didn't show up that night. But we were pretty confident that you and Minor Harkness and his Sierra Madre search and rescue team and all those bloodhounds would find us pretty soon. We hoped. And you did, of course, in the wee hours of the next day. Thank you for being so brave and so strong and so dependable. And thank you for showing us how to treat friends and neighbors and down on their luck strangers. We have memories of you showing generosity quietly and kindness, even when it was inconvenient and even when it wasn't easy. You know all these people. You knew most everybody in town. And beyond that, this man knew where everybody hid their house key. And he knew that because you all told him. And you told him because you trusted him. And you depended on him. And you respected him. You liked him. And here we are today celebrating your 90th birthday. And, you know, he might not know where all your keys are anymore. But, but, some things haven't changed. All these people here, we depend on you. We trust you. We like you. We respect you. And we love you. So happy birthday, Dad. Thanks for everything.
Isn't that a hard act to follow? Thank you. But I would feel remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to share the rich experience that I had personally with my two sons and my husband to work with Gordon for 22 years in gem plumbing. All of the I was because Dave and Mark are here. And there were a lot of challenges to a small business, of course, as many of you know. And I think gem plumbing may have been the very first business in Sierra Madre, small business in Sierra Madre, to actually become computerized. You think so? Anyway, that was quite a big challenge. But the reason that I wanted to say a few words today was to tell you what a very rich experience that was. I'm fond of quoting one of my favorite people who write poems, Edna St. Vincent Millay, who says, "The world goes out on either side, no wider than the heart is wide, and up above is stretched the sky, no higher than the soul is high. And I'm here to say that I spent 22 years closely observing this man who has the widest, most generous heart, the most knowing soul, that it was a privilege. And it's a privilege to be here from Tucson, Arizona, to wish him a happy birthday. Happy 90th birthday, Gordon Caldwell.
Anybody else care to come and share some stories? I think it's your turn.
Pardon me for being so feeble. My back got a place a couple days ago, and you might know it would be when I needed work. Anyway, I look out at the crowd and I thank you so much. It brings really tears of joy to me to know all of you. At one time or another, probably most of you, I've worked in your homes, been around you for years, and it's so wonderful to look out and see you. I just can't thank you enough for coming. And I can't thank my wife enough for putting this party on for me. You know,
No, I wouldn't say anything bad. Not over the mic. We thank you all for coming in. As I said when we first started this program, Gordon considers you all his extended family. And if there was anyone that ever asked Gordon to do anything, to contribute anything, he always said yes. He might not have heard what you asked, but some way he would fulfill that promise. There are those who knew he couldn't hear, so they always asked on his bad side. But we thank you all for coming, and the villa is ours until later this afternoon, so if you would like to stay, you can join us in the library. And the pictures on the table, they're yours to keep if you want them, and I'll explain what they are. Gordon has participated in countless projects in town. These are some of the pictures I took of those projects. The other pictures are maybe places we've traveled. Gordon and I have been to Scandinavia. We've been to England several times, to Scotland, to Ireland twice, to Morocco, to Portugal, to Spain, to Czechoslovakia, to the Passion Play, to Alaska for 3 months, all the way to Labrador. So these are some of the places that Gordon has been and he has seen that he enjoyed. If you don't like what's on your table, trade with the guy next door. So if you see something, some of the people, as I put the pictures together, are no longer with us. And maybe they were somebody you knew. So the pictures are yours. And if you have not signed his photograph, please take the time to sign the photograph in the lobby as you came in. There's also a guest book there for longer messages. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for the encouragement that you gave and for just coming to help him celebrate today.
I want to especially thank Margaret and Peter coming from Tucson, Phyllis coming from Palm Springs, and my grandson coming from Washington, and my good friend flew in from Idaho, and I just can't thank all of you enough. You're a wonderful bunch of people. Thank you. Thank you much.
We would also like to thank those who have made gifts to the
through a